What's going on? What's going on, Patriots? This your man Jay from Hood Politics checking in, and you know how we start everyone off, every single one of them, yo. We're gonna keep Texas and the Carolinas, New Mexico, and that baby that just lost her life in Hershey Park. We're gonna keep them in our thoughts and prayers, family. Hey, check it out, man. I got an interesting one right here. You did. It looks like the Democrats is trying to pivot. It looks like the left and the mainstream media is trying to pivot on this Ghislaine Maxwell, with on this Epstein file, since the DOJ and Trump administration is questioning this chick Ghislaine Maxwell. You know what I'm saying? So you already know what they're gonna say. But see, this is something that this is their fault. You know, they was playing political games, knowing that this Epstein stuff should have been left alone. You know what I mean? I don't know why it should have been left alone, but apparently it really wasn't nothing that they had. You know what I'm saying? Because the Trump, if it was something that they had and that could have been released, they wouldn't be talking to this chick. And now they talking to this chick, and they've been talking to her for 2 days, and it seemed like the mainstream media is pivoting. I got the MSDNC pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how they taking it. Let's see what they talking about.
I want to bring in NBC's Aaron Gilchrist in Tallahassee. David Drucker is senior writer at The Dispatch. Here with me in studio is former federal prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst Paul Butler, along with Simone Sanders Townsend, former chief spokesperson for Vice President Harris and co-host of The Weeknight. Paul, take us inside that room. What's your best assessment, knowing how these things can work? And we know this is not regular, but what's happening now? What are the discussions?
They're trying to find out whether she has any information that could lead to charges against other people. So in the press briefing today, President Trump emphasized he's especially interested in former President Clinton and Larry Summers, the former president of Harvard. Now, just like there's no evidence suggesting that Trump was involved in sex trafficking, there's no evidence so far suggesting that those other folks were interested or involved in Epstein's sex trafficking.
Or in fact, to anyone else. This has been investigated, litigated, relitigated, right?
That's exactly right.
Then why was y'all so adamant about this list being released? Because it was political BS, and they knew it wasn't. They didn't have whatever they had. They only had enough to get Epstein and this chick's Ghislaine Maxwell. I cannot pronounce her name for nothing on this planet, man. It's like a tongue twister. You know what I mean? But yeah, they know that they had just that much, or they had it all, and they knew, and it involved too many people, so they destroyed it before the Trump administration came in. So that's the only reason. And this should tell MAGA that Trump was telling the truth, that it ain't nothing. It wasn't nothing to release, because if it was, they would not be talking to her right now trying to get something to make us happy. You know what I mean? And right now, they turn around running scared, talking about some, oh, you see how they made sure they threw Trump out there first. But see, they think we some type of cult, man. They think if Trump say jump, we say fucking how high or something. Excuse me, I be trying to keep it family friendly, but that be aggravating me. But you see how they threw Trump out there? There's no indication that Trump is, and then there's no indication that those other guys are. You know, oh my goodness, these people be going so crazy, and now they running scared because the Trump administration got Ghislaine in there, and she is answering questions. They say she ain't plead no fifth. She answering every question. She ain't up whistling and singing like a bizarre. Yo, let's get it.
Right. And so Miss Maxwell is trying to get out of jail. So she will say what she thinks she needs to say in order to get the Department of Justice to recommend a lower sentence, or to get President Trump to pardon her. Her history, Chris, is the opposite of cooperating with law enforcement. In 2021, when the FBI showed up to do a search warrant at her house, she hid.
And we go with the discrediting. And we go with the discrediting. They finna discredit her to they normie audience, and they radicals.
She had no knowledge of any underage girls being on any of Epstein's properties other than one person, and she said that as far as she knew, Epstein had only had sex with two people other than her. At her sentencing, the judge said she had not accepted responsibility for these crimes. So whatever she says, there's no reason to believe it. She's not credible.
So, Aaron, as that's going on inside,
What I tell y'all?
outside, what can you tell us about what's happening at the
What did I tell you, bro? Didn't I tell y'all that they finna had come to discredit it? Oh no, she's not credible. Anything she said in 2000, oh she lied to the FBI. Yeah.
courthouse?
Well, Chris, we know that the key players are very likely in that meeting, that interview again today. We were able to see some of those players coming into the courthouse this morning, right around 9 o'clock. And since then, it's really been radio silence. We don't know from the Department of Justice's perspective a lot about what they've been able to glean or
That's
what they're
making them
trying to
nervous,
get
yo.
from Ghislaine
That's making them
Maxwell. We know
nervous.
that the Attorney General yesterday, after meeting for more than 4 hours, we believe, didn't have much to say coming out of the courthouse, and late last night posted on social media that he had the meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell, and he said that he would share additional information about what they learned from her at the appropriate time. That's the indication we got from the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. The lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell have had a little more to say in the time that they've been coming in and out of the courthouse here in Tallahassee. Mr. Marcus saying today that he was grateful that the government is trying to uncover the truth, the words that he used. I want you to hear a little bit more about his perspective on what's happening with these meetings and what the end goal might be.
And see, before we get into that with dude, you know what I'm saying? This is what they worried about. The truth. They probably they thought they got away with it because they probably got rid of all the evidence. I don't know. I'm not saying that they had any evidence and that they destroyed evidence. I'm just saying if they did, they thought they was good. You know what I mean? But, Trump mentioned he gonna release the Epstein's files. MAGA went in. Trump listened to us, you know what I'm saying? And so now these people jumped on the political bandwagon. Oh, this son, we know it ain't nothing there because they destroyed stuff, or I don't know if they did or not. I'm just saying this is all hypothetical. You know what I mean? This is all hypothetical. This is just me brainstorming some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So and if it was something like that, you know what I mean? We can use this to gain favorability, you know what I mean, and throw Trump under the bus and yada yada, because we know it ain't nothing there, you know what I'm saying? Now, and this should prove to MAGA that Trump wasn't lying, man. Now they going to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. You see what I'm saying? And now people are scared because this chick, if anything was destroyed, guess what? She wasn't.
We're hoping for another productive day. Ghislaine has been treated unfairly for over 5 years now.
Ghislaine, okay. I can't say this chick name for nothing, man.
Next to the dictionary definition of it. So, we're grateful for this opportunity to finally be able to say what really happened, and that's what we're going to do yesterday and today. And so we know that there are people outside this courthouse paying attention to what's happening. There, a senior Justice Department official,
Dude got the stuttering.
Attorney General Pam Bondi had been briefed on the meeting that happened here yesterday and is continuing to follow what's happening. At the same time, there are members of the public who are very much aware that this is happening. We were able to see a plane flying overhead here outside the federal courthouse with a banner on it that said Trump and Bondi are protecting predators. This is an organization called Ultraviolet.
And see, this is what I'm talking about. That type of stuff right there got all of this started. Got this whole rabbit hole dug, and now they done jumped up in there. And now I'm interested. At first, I didn't give a good god dog about none of this Epstein crap. I wanted to get the illegals, and I wanted the border closed, and I wanted the no tax on tip. Everything that he gave us so far, I wanted that. The dismantling of the government, I wanted that. I could care less about these Epstein files. But now that they talking to Ghislaine, I got it right. Now that they talking to Ghislaine, I am definitely interested now. You know what I mean?
That's put this banner up in the air here, trying to make a point about the victims the victims of Jeffrey Epstein sort of having been betrayed by this additional conversation with Ghislaine Maxwell that, as you're Guest noted that perhaps the Maxwell team hopes will lead to some leniency after we know she was sentenced to 20 years in prison back in
She got a
2020.
deuce.
Aaron,
All right, we gonna leave it right there, man. It looks like they're trying to pivot. So you can best believe that you know how the mainstream media do. When they want a story to die, it dies. It dies. So you can best believe that we ain't finna pretty much be hearing nobody on the left screaming about the Epstein files no more. You know what I'm saying? And you know this, your boy Jay from Hood Politics. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I love all my patriots, man. MAGA crazy. God bless the USA. All of the above, baby. This is your boy Jay from Hood Politics checking in. Now I'm checking out.